Hey guys, it's me, Kimberly Clark. I am here with a full review of this amazing indie makeup product, the LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette. Welcome to my review. I've never really posted a single product review on this channel before. If you really want to see products that I've kind of vetted and tested and ensured that I really loved, check out my favorites videos. I posted my summer favorites video a couple weeks ago. I'm working on my fall favorites video, which is going to come out the end of fall. That's when I post my favorite videos, just the end of the season that they are for, just because I really want to have a full kind of understanding of the products that I am favoriting. But this is my first video with a single product, and I really think this product deserves its own video. The company is LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs. It's LunatiCK spelled with a capital C and K. LunatiCK with a K on the end, but the C and K are capital. LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs. I first heard about this brand from my good friend Severely Mame, who you can see in the season finale of Kimberly Hang's season 1. She showed me this kind of little coffin-shaped eyeshadow palette that she had sent to her, and the shadows just seemed amazing. It was great. So I've always kind of had this brand in like my back burner. Basically what this is a contour palette with cool undertones. The reason people are saying this is revolutionary is because most contour shades are kind of like versions of bronzers, like they're matte versions of bronzers basically, where it's still a kind of warm, bronzy tone. I've heard a lot of people on YouTube talk about this palette being great for people with pale skin and cool undertones, like myself. But the brand LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs has pretty resolutely said that this is not just for pale people with cool undertones. This is a palette for anyone to use because, as they say, when was the last time you saw an orange shadow? Basically what they're saying is that we often contour with orangey bronze shades, but in reality, shadows are not orange, they're gray. They're just darker versions of whatever has been under there. Now, of course, if you have a warmer, more tan skin tone, a deeper orangey contour shade is a darker version of your skin tone. But the cool thing about these colors, which I think the company is interested in, is that because they are not orange or bronze, they actually can work to create a realistic shadow on any skin tone. So this palette retails for $74. I purchased this palette with my own money. I was not sent this by LunatiCK Cosmetics, although if you're watching LunatiCK, bitch, send me your stuff. I love you. This is what it looks like. When I looked at it online, I thought it would be a little larger, but hey, I'm a drag queen. Everything I think is larger than it is, and it looks small in my giant man hands. Here it is compared to a MAC Pro palette. It's definitely bigger than that. It's a little thinner, it's slimmer, definitely, and it's about the same width. Just to do a quick price comparison. Okay, so as I was filming this, I kind of messed up my math, so I decided to do this part as voiceover with some helpful graphics. The LunatiCK Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette has 12 shadows at 0.14 ounces each with a total of 1.68 ounces of product. For $74, that means that it's $44.05 an ounce. A MAC Pro palette, you get 6 shadows at 0.21 ounces each, or a total of 1.26 ounces, and at $17 per shadow plus $3 for the palette and the insert, total of $102 for the MAC Pro palette. That makes it $80.95 an ounce. Then I decided to do some more comparisons. The Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette, you get 3 light shades and 3 shade shades for a total of 0.72 ounces of product. At $46, that makes it $63.89 an ounce. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Palette, you get 6 shades at 0.11 ounces, making it a total of 0.66 ounces for $40, and that makes it $60.60 an ounce. So I was like, oh my god, this LunatiCK palette is way cheaper per ounce ounce than all these other brands. Let me see how it compares to a brand like NYX. The NYX contour palette, you get 8 shades at 0.09 ounces for a total of 0.72 ounces of product, and it is retailed for $24.99. That makes it $34.71 an ounce. So this palette is actually about $10 more expensive per ounce than NYX shadows, but it is overwhelmingly much cheaper per ounce than Anastasia, MAC, or Kat Von D. So stick that in your pipe. It has this amazing artwork that is kind of like a book of spells or something. People have been saying that it's like the book from Hocus Pocus. I don't know if you can tell, but it is printed. It has one layer of printing, and then it has this kind of extra sheen on certain parts of it. Not only, I think, is this just a beautiful illustration, but I think that the fact that it is a contour palette utilizing this kind of like dual print thing, I think that's like an actually very smart design decision. I think it makes sense kind of in a narrative design way. Whatever, that's just the graphic designer and me just coming out just to say. Inside you have a very lovely mirror, and then you have the shades. So there are 12 shades on this palette. Each one is removable. I'm not gonna remove it. I don't trust myself to remove one of these with my nails and not fuck it up, but I'm gonna use the paper clip. It's magnetized and it just kind of pops out. Ooh, see? You know, it's the pan. So you have just like the little pan. I'm assuming that this will be useful when LunatiCK releases replacement pans for this. Currently on their website, they don't have that set up, but I'm imagining what's going to happen because, you know, with so many different shades, you're probably going to gravitate towards specific ones and hit pan on those first. So it's actually really, really convenient that you can very easily pop out and replace shades that you go through more frequently. So basically what we have are 3 columns, kind of 3 different temperatures of powders. We have a very neutral gray, just literal full-on gray, real gray, full-on white, just bright white, a gray, a deeper kind of slightly bluish gray, and then a slightly more kind of taupey, deep gray shade. Then just to skip over to this side, we have a vanilla shade, like a much more yellow kind of highlight shade, some warmer kind of contoury shades, and then a slightly warmer, like true brown color on the back. Ooh. There we go. Nail in the contour. That's about, you know, that's bound to happen when you do these swatch videos. I guess you get a nail in. For the record, I'm not as drunk as I was when I did my Sephora VAB 20% off haul video, but it is 4 in the morning. Just to put it out there. And then the center column is these rosy tone shades. Now, as a lot of people have said before in other videos, I don't really see these being used as proper contour or highlight shades. They're blushes. In terms of blushes, they're excellent blushes. So I also went ahead and did some comparison swatches. Up top, you have the 3 warm-toned brown shades from the LunatiCK Contour Palette, and on the bottom, you have MAC Pro Sculpting Powders in Sculpt, Shadester, and Shadowy. I'd say they're pretty dupable. Then I went ahead and swatched NARS Laguna Bronzer all the way on the left and e.l.f. Cool Bronzer all the way on the right. And in between are those 2 mid-toned warm contour shades from the LunatiCK palette, the light brown and brown. Yeah, okay, so basically every time I've used this palette, I've used it the same way, with some variations, which I'll mention. I basically use these kind of gray shades as my lighter contour and then my deeper, and then I warm up slightly kind of as a bronzer with any of these 3 shades over here. Part of me was like, if you're gonna just combine these cool gray shades and the warm shades, like why not just have a kind of perfect perfect colored powder like my MAC Sculpt or something that like just kind of is that perfect neutral shade. When you can really specify like what is shadow and what is kind of like bronze, like sun hit it, I got tan there kind of thing, like really specifically kind of carve out parts of your contour, it is really effective in terms of dimensionality. And then of course I've used these as blush, I've used this as a highlight, I've used this as a highlight, I even used this gray today as a highlight underneath my cheekbone. The first time I used this product, I went through my regular cream contour routine, as I kind of explain in the first part of my 5-part This Is My Face Kimberly Clark makeup tutorial series, where you can see how I use my 2 MAC full coverage foundation shades and this Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics full coverage foundation in the shade R5. This is me applying the contour product on top of my cream contour. And I gotta say, I didn't notice much of a difference from my standard contour routine. I was like, oh, they are just kind of coming off as warm as my, MAC sculpting powders that I know and love. Like, I don't really understand why this is any more amazing. So then I kind of was like, well, okay, so it seems like if I put them on a warmer base, then they're not going to be as cool. So this next time that I'd use the product, I did my makeup in like a kind of like totally scary way where I only use my MAC W10, which is a slightly warm, very light base, as foundation. I did not use my cream contour products at all. I did highlight with my OCC cream color concentrate in the shade Vice, that just white cream, but I did not contour with any other products. I really wanted to see how this palette held up just on a very like white neutral base. And as you can see, it worked out really well. It was beautiful. It really gives you that kind of like contour effect, like shadow, like not bronzer. And this is the look that I wore in my Sephora VIB haul. Now, I gotta say, without the cream contour, that product lasted amazingly. I filmed that video at like 5 in the morning, kind of like the way I'm filming this one. I have no cream color underneath it that I kind of like, layered the same color on top of. And the fact that I just wore this very light neutral color and then put these contour colors on top of it without having like a matching contour, like I was like, oh my god, this isn't gonna work. This is gonna fade. It's gonna fade away. It's gonna disappear. It didn't. It actually lasted the entire night. That contour is there. It's not gone. It's full. It's real. For today's look, I had done the kind of typical cream color layered with this routine. I did the kind of no cream contour layered with this routine. And I was like, let me try to split the dip. So I realized that all of the kind of contouring shades that I had were either a little too red or like my MAC NW25, like a little too yellow, like a little too warm. So I kind of went back into my stash and found this foundation that I used to use as a contour, and it is the Ben Nye BN2 Beige Natural Foundation. Now, this is a very, very similar tone to this NW25 by MAC, but you can see it is much more cool. And I use that today, as you can see. And I really found that by using this cooler cream color contour and then adding this cool product on top, it really, like, it actually looks like my cheekbones are this when they're not. They're, like, you can tell they're just flat. Check that out. Got no cheekbones. Don't have them at all. But look, I've added this depth with this, the cool shades in the palette, and then I've added like a little bit of warmth. I really like this. This is kind of my favorite way this palette, my favorite look of this palette. I think it's really, really nice. My kind of like total review of the palette is, this is amazing. And I really do believe LunatiCK when they say, pay attention, in a couple months or a couple years, you're gonna see mainstream brands releasing cool contour palettes, because I really feel like this is not just a trend. I feel like it is what contouring wanted to be, which is actually making your face look like a different shape than it is. I think what contouring now in the kind of popular makeup world is really just a kind of like watered down bronzer. And that's not what contouring is. Contouring is reshaping your face, changing the structure of your face. And I really feel like this palette nails it. In two of my looks, the first time I used this palette and today, I used these shades as eye contour as well, for my crease. Ugh, I mean, they're gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Today I use this light gray as a transition shade. This is the shade that I've heard a lot of people kind of say, like, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do. It's a great transition shade for a cool eye. And like I said, like I use it today, it's a great kind of like highlight for areas that you don't want to be like as crazily highlighted as like your cheekbones or your nose. You look at it in the pan and you're like, I don't want that color on my face. But you really have to think of this in a kind of like painterly way. Like these are just versions of white and black that you can mix with your actual skin tone, your other products that you have on your face to change and shape and sculpt your face. If you looked at this and you're like, ooh, it's too cool. Like, oh, I love that. I love there's highlights and blushes and I love it. But there's no contours that are like my awesome like orangey bronze ones that I'm used to. Just trust me, just try this. You have a bronzer, you can bronze up your face if you want later, but if you really want to contour, like legit contour, this is it. This is what it is. Basically, they haven't like reinvented contour, they have defined contour. They have like, this is it. This is the definition of contour, this palette. This is what it is. I'm Kimberly Clark. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy these kind of late night videos. I'm pretty sure this is like how I'll exclusively be filming, like after a gig at, what the fuck time is it? At 4:38 in the morning. Check out my other videos, like this video if you found it interesting, subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching. Bye! These nails are so chipped, I'm so sorry. But isn't this color pretty? It's Chanel Frenzy. Perfect for a cool contour palette.